Uno. What's up? I'm BZB.
I'm Adrian.
I am Danae.
And this is But Actually. Oh, sorry. But
Actually Decent.
The podcast.
Jeez.
Three
Good
millennials
job.
trying to navigate this world one group chat at a time. Guys, how the heck are ya?
How the heck are ya? Danae, ladies first.
Ooh, ladies first. You and
okay.
I,
Oh. Okay. Thanks guys. I'm tired.
Okay.
I'm woe down and I'm toe down, but I can
not
see
toe
my
down
way.
too.
Well, you
I
can't be.
can
Well, you
see.
can't be wore down and toe down.
You can.
Yes, I
You
can.
can.
And I am.
Damn.
I have been in the throes of basketball for the month of June.
Mm-hmm.
And today, actually, I was like, this was my only, because today's the last day of June. We're recording on Monday, June 30th. And I was like, wow, it's still June. Still June. But a couple of days off here coming up, some vacations coming up soon. We'll talk about that towards the end of the podcast. But I'm all right.
Okay.
I'm okay. How about y'all?
Okay, that's fair. B, how was you?
I'm doing pretty good. I am actually, yes, I'm pretty good. I'm really excited about my YouTube channel. I'm being consistent and stuff, and I'm up like 4,700 views. So I'm so excited. I was telling my friend a couple weeks ago.
You didn't watch the
like,
video. You didn't.
No, I got you. I'm gonna get to that. I'll talk to my friend. I was like, yeah, I'm an influencer in real life because people really come to me for their tech purchases. She said, you need that as a tagline. You are an influencer in real life. And both of these podcasts, I have influence for sure.
Yes.
So I always keep that in the
I
back
don't buy
of my
nothing without saying B. What do I get?
Yeah.
Right. So I always keep that.
Whatever. Yeah. So
I keep that in the back of my mind. If I can influence 2, 10, 15 people, I know I can influence 10,000 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You got two right here.
Mm-hmm.
Got two right here.
Actually, I got something else I need to ask you about, but that'll be for later.
Offline.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about offline.
I'm like, let me open the Google app. Oh, let me just text Brian.
I'll just call
right.
Brian.
What do I do about this? How do I fix this? So
Tech cousin.
Tech cousin Beezy. Yeah, search me on YouTube. Yeah. Hey, how you feeling?
I am good. I'm good. Yeah, that's it. I'm good. Weekend,
and that's enough.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's wonderful. Before we get into this episode, make sure everybody is following us on Instagram, ButActuallyDecentPod, YouTube Pod in Color, TikTok, ButActuallyDecent, Facebook, ButActuallyDecent the podcast, and Spotify, ButActuallyDecent the podcast. Yeah, y'all want to get into weekends? What was you gonna say, Nay?
Maybe we should talk about the fact that we are gonna go on hiatus after this episode. Now, I know I said we'll save that for later, but the summertime is hard, y'all. So use this time. We won't be back until August 8th, the week of August 18th. Just because the summertime is jam-packed with events, and we also need some time to experience life and have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
We gonna pause for a minute and go kick it up. But y'all can go and catch up and watch a lot of the past episodes.
Yes.
And then we'll see y'all back here in August. But we're gonna finish strong here today.
Yes, we is.
Yes, we is.
Yes, we is.
So we can. I'm a
Mm-mm.
feminist. You don't have to make me first. I could be last.
Okay, the first should be last and the last should be first.
Hey,
why you drinking that?
Hey, that's the word.
Hey, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
My mouth was actually open because I saw Cutwater. I was like, "Oh,
but you keep doing it.
Episode.
You keep doing it though, and that's the thing. I said, "Watch your mouth," and you keep doing it.
Who got a Cutwater?
I don't know.
If it ain't me, if it ain't you,
if it ain't me,
It's the one that's looking perplexed. Run that tape back. Run it back. Somebody rewind. Instant replay.
You need to mind your damn business. That's what you need to do.
That's what you need to do. Hey, how was your weekend? What went on over your weekend?
My weekend was good. I went swimming because I do that here lately. I went swimming, had a nice meal, had a nice Sunday at church. Very nice, actually. And I went to go stop by to see like my mom and them. So it was cool. Nothing too much. I'm able to get a haircut in a few days. You know, my barber was out of town Father's Day weekend, and I had somebody else cut my hair, and I didn't like it. So this is why I've been looking like
you look good.
Haircut. Yeah, no. You're right. You're right. I do. But I will be better. No, I look good. You're right, Danae. Thank you for affirming me, Queen.
Said, that's what I said.
That's it. You're right. You're right. So my weekend was good. That was mine. Nothing bad. Nothing to complain about. Like it was cool. It was cool.
That's good.
It was cool.
You were busy this weekend.
I was busy. Oh yeah, I was busy this weekend. I forgot. I was like, yeah, I ain't really doing too much. Yeah. No, right. Okay, right. I went to Michigan. We went to Michigan for he up here. I'm gonna mind my business.
I'm drinking out of jar.
You know, some people don't want you to drink out of jars.
Go ahead, B. Sorry.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we went to Michigan for a graduation party. We had a cousin that graduated from Michigan. It mixes me up. Michigan State University or University of Michigan. One of the two. Whichever one he graduated. It was green.
Michigan State.
Michigan State, okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Chicago State. He went to Chicago State.
No, big difference. Very big difference.
Huge difference.
And no shade, but
no shade.
So yeah, that was cool.
Congratulations to him.
He's currently interning with Oklahoma City Thunder, which is dope, super dope.
Oh, wow.
And he's going to Seattle to work for Microsoft. Me building him for real. So yeah, his trajectory is high, very, very high. So we were going to stay in we were going to go to Indiana, but so like South Bend, Indiana is where some of my family is, but we just decided to come on home, and I'm glad because yesterday everybody was exhausted, literally exhausted. So I'm glad that we just came on back around. So
how long was the drive to Michigan?
Say it one more time.
How long was the drive to Michigan?
It was about 3.5 hours.
Okay.
3.5 hours. Okay. Yeah, that's about the most I could do in the car. How about y'all?
That's all I want to do in the car.
4, about 4, but anything longer than that.
You know, Danae like to point out the times that I may have wronged her.
Wrong.
But I just want to share this quick story, if I may. We went on a trip. So my cousin and I went on a trip to New Orleans, not recently, but like a few years ago. And so they were like, we're gonna get a party bus. And so I was like, okay, so then I'm like, today we're gonna go. We both love New Orleans. It's a no-brainer. We pull up to my cousin's house and I'm like, oh, okay. So we see the party bus. And and so then they like, we about to get rolling. Da, 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 da. We didn't take in, at least I didn't think about the fact that New Orleans is 12 hours away.
14.
Ooh.
Oh, 14. We drove there. We left at like 3 in the morning, something like that. So we got there. It was fine.
No, it wasn't. When we got there, my feet looked like this. Continue.
We made it safely. Made it safely. And the streets in New Orleans and a party bus, it don't really work because the streets are this narrow and it's 2 lanes going opposite directions. So we did that. So it was like time, and Danae was like, Adrian, I can't do this. I said, do what? She was like, I bought me a flight home. I was like,
I did.
Jazz left me, but them feet was straight up on some.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were.
And yeah,
to my defense,
I missed that
To
first part. Y'all was going from where to New Orleans?
Chicago.
From
Here to New Orleans.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
But to my defense, I had to work, and I couldn't. Was it spring break? I think it was spring break. I'm not sure at what point in the year, but like I needed to be
Yeah,
back
you
to work,
couldn't
and
wait.
y'all were
Yeah.
kind of like
We went to the
stopping.
mall.
Yeah. So
You like
I needed to be back, and my feet were paper towels. From just sitting
We
and
didn't leave the
all
yeah,
the
house till like
salt
5 o'clock.
and it was bad. So
it was a lot.
I will leave your ass on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
You should just know that.
Y'all never left me, and we was driving back, and this is the last part. We was driving back, and everybody was asleep, and so they're like, "The guy's gonna drive." I'm like, "I'll pay extra on gas. I'm not driving. That's just not happening." We were driving back. Me and my Cooster were in the mall. That's what I call my cousin / sister. We were in the mall, and we weren't in the mall like, "Hey, we got to drive back 14 hours." We were in the mall like, "Oh, we in River Oaks." Her husband was like, my cousin. He was like, y'all do know we got to go home, right?
We need to.
We was like, okay,
we
we gonna
got
go to one more
12
store.
hours ahead of us.
Bad, like we thought we was at home, and I'm like,
14.
where are we putting this stuff? Like it was, and we were driving back. Everybody fell asleep. This was me. My cousin looked back. He was like, "You go to sleep." I said, "No, I can't. I'm not.
Right.
It's raining. We're on a dark highway. I am going to look this thing in the face."
It was
You know about
storming on
to
our
kill
way
me?
down too.
Yeah,
So it was just, did that, don't need to do it again.
So longest story short, road trips. I just don't want to do them from that experience. I don't.
I can do up to 4 hours. We just drove to Michigan, and it's an hour later there.
Yeah, Eastern time.
Which, was very nice when we got back here. But whatever. I was gonna ask. I was shocked. I was like, "Oh, Brian now." Looked at your location. I just thought y'all were staying there. So when I saw that, I was like,
because that's what I told you.
wow,
I told you that we
truly
were
was
staying.
a day trip. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh, what y'all think? I just want us to do everything because I also want us to go to Cookies, and Odyssey. But wouldn't a day trip be cool if we went to it's a ramen place in DC that I love. If we just
a day trip to DC,
yeah. But I'm gonna stay. But I feel like I just loved it. It's so fun.
Have you learned nothing? Have you
Right.
learned nothing?
It's so fun.
How soon we forget?
A 36 hour. Yeah, I got any more than 24. We've done 36 hours places, but whew. All right.
I don't even know where we are. Weekends. B was traveling. I was doing my stuff.
Right.
I was home. I didn't go nowhere this weekend. Friday, my phone broke. I had to go to the T-Mobile store because I was playing with them kids having a water fight, and they got my phone wet. But whatever, I needed a new one anyway, so I was able to do that. And then the rest of the weekend, they was trying to back up my phone, and I kept telling the girl, because they were about to close, I'm like, I don't want to have to leave out of my house this weekend. So if there's any way that you could let me stick around, and she was like, well, you can stay as long as there's other people in the store. I said, well, I'm sure gonna stay, so that I didn't have to go back to take my phone back, my old phone back to them, and it worked out fine. I'm back down. And we moving fast over here. We're moving fast over here. We pink now. We pink.
Oh.
But have you put your Apple stick on the back of your phone? I feel like that's I just got an iPhone thing. When they put them stickers on the back of their phone. Y'all ever see people do that? The stickers that come with
this case scatter. I didn't even pay. She took everything out the box for me. I used to keep my stickers. But I just was ready to get back to my bed because I was literally in my bed when I noticed.
Yeah, we were texting.
Right, and I was like, "Oh no!" And it was about to die. But we got through that. But outside of that, I did not leave this home, and it was well deserved.
Well deserved.
I love that.
Yeah, segments. Y'all want to get into segments?
Absolutely. Now let's start with you since you back to back from your weekend. What you mad at, girl?
Lots of things, but
Careful.
because
Tonight.
I started to go down the T-Mobile Hyde Park on Friday Road.
Ooh.
But it's all encompassing here. You know, we in a digital era,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And I get it. I just feel like you should not drive with noise canceling headphones. I think that is incredibly dangerous. I think that, you know, having hands free, we want to all go hands free.
Right.
And I understand that headphones allows you to do that, but
Mhm.
something feels very unsafe about not being able to hear noises like horns or
Scream.
mainly screams or anything that could be happening on the road, like screeches. Like there's all kind of things that you just naturally need to hear
Yeah.
while you're driving.
Yeah.
And I am a one AirPod kind of girl, right?
Yeah.
Maybe let's just do one. But
Mhm.
when you do two and you block out the outside world, number one, what are you listening to? And why can't you listen to it through the radio? Number two, I'm about to hit you because I've honked. And if you don't hear me, actually, you about to hit me. The way my apartment is set up, like you gotta drive out a carport into an alley. And I can't tell you how many times, like, and I think it's just one person. I'm actually in between two fields, and people just kind of hang out in the fields. Ghetto. But it's like they'll pull out of there, and I'm like, you can't hear me because I honked. I lay on the horn there because I almost got hit there like on some ice one time.
Oof.
And I had an incident this week where I'm like honking. I always honk when I come out of there. And this dude had like, what's the max?
Oh yeah,
Headphones
AirPod
on. And I
Maxes,
think
yeah.
that's ridiculous to be driving with those. Like
Yeah.
AirPod, cool, but man,
You don't want to hear nothing.
what are you listening to?
Right.
Yeah.
So that pissed me off. And I just think we need to be careful in these cars. You know, my dad used to say, people don't know how to drive, they know how to move a car. And I think that is
That's the
more valid
truth.
now than ever. Like people are not driving for the people around them. They are driving for themselves clearly, because also if it's other people in the car with you, why you got on headphones? Like you're not even sharing the wealth of whatever it is that you listen to. I think it's rude. I think it's dangerous. And I think y'all need to stop it.
Fix it.
Fix it.
Fix it.
Don't be driving with them headphones.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is wild. Hey, what you got?
I heard a funny story. So, did you guys know that? And I only know this because somebody told me that you can't just go and buy a Ferrari.
Yeah, or a Lamborghini, or Hermes.
Like you can't just say like, "Hey, I
Or
want to get a
Birkin.
2000." Yeah, there's levels to it. So my wellness tip is there's levels to it. So I was talking to someone who has a Ferrari, and they're like, I had to buy a used one first.
Yeah.
And then I can get a custom one. I can't get I don't care who you are, how much money you have to build to get to that point. And like Wayne said, let the be build. Like things, there's levels to everything. We want to get to the top easily or what have you, but we also got to understand there's levels to it in anything that we do. And that's on a different scale, but it's just still the same thing. You can't just you won't just be great, Adrian. You just won't be great. You have to grow to that. And so that's my wellness tip that I am taking and I'm sharing with you guys, and I hope it helps you all, is to understand there's levels to it. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Because every
and
level,
it's okay that it
there's
takes
a person.
time too.
Yes, because good stuff takes time.
Good things take time. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's my wellness tip this week. It's just that it's levels. It's levels. So don't
add to that. Like remember they used to call it like the microwave society. Like they called us the microwave society. These whippersnappers are in the air fryer. They in the air fryer society because
Okay.
like you can't cook no steak in the microwave, but you damn sure can cook one in the air fryer. So like they
and it'd
want
be a lot healthier. Yeah.
right, they want more for
Mm.
even a quicker amount of time. Like
The
where's all
Wow,
those
that's
option
deep. That's
there.
deep.
like
Yeah.
when you cook certain things in the air fryer. Like I remember when I was new to air fryer culture, I just was like, this ain't done. I'm not eating that. That ain't done.
Right.
And it be done.
And it be
So
It be
done.
done. It
yeah,
be
that
The
done.
just
next thing I know, I buy stuff like, how do you do it in the air fryer?
In the air fryer, specifically in the air fryer.
Because there's some things that have like
Air
directions
fryer
for
Yeah.
when
directions.
you use the air fryer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's
yeah, but
true,
we are now becoming used to getting
Yeah.
more, even quicker
yeah,
than
that's scary.
we
Do you
could
think
through
that's
the
a bad thing
microwave.
though?
I
I do.
I think what's crazy is this goes into the episode content today because it's just like, no, I guess it's not bad, especially for the younger generation that's all that they know. They don't have anything to compare it to, but it's something about that slow cooker, right? It's something about putting something on the smoker and letting it do its thing for a while
Mhm.
that is rewarding.
Yeah.
But being able to balance it, look, I'm all
Be
about
like,
the
I don't
food.
want no damn smoke.
He like,
Be
I
like,
don't
I
like
don't
it.
I
want
talked
no
to
damn tuna.
listen, you know what's so funny? I talked to one of my friends who husband is older, I think like 5 years older than her. And so they are, so anyway, he was like, yeah, I love to use my smoker, man. I said, all the time? He said, yeah, all the time. I said, like, how long does chicken take? He said, about 4 or 5 hours. I said, and you like to use a smoker all the time? He said, yeah, I love it. I said, oh my God. I said, that is a patient man. Something that I can take from him. I think I got
Mhm.
patience, but 4 or 5 hours for chicken every single time. Wow, that
Yeah.
is a lot.
When you can put it in the air fryer for 14 minutes on
Yeah.
450.
And be get.
He didn't even put his on the smoker yet.
Right.
Right. But I think
14 minutes.
having balance and certain things do need to
It's
take
all
a
about
little bit.
balance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about balance. Why he keeps sneaking away to drink
Drink
this
that
cut?
cuddy. Go ahead and drink
Right.
that cuddy out loud. Live out loud, boy.
That's my vitamin water. You trying to say that because it's the
Yeah,
last day
okay,
of Pride?
vitamins. Okay,
Trying to tell me to live
vitamins.
out loud because it's the last day of Pride.
That's funny.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
my BZ offers wisdom today. So last week, man, I had to reset my computer. I had to come to grips with resetting my computer. It's not something that I wanted to do, because who wants to do it, right? Who wants
No.
to reset their computer? And when I tell you I feel like I got a brand new computer, I am, God bless you. I feel
Thank you.
like a brand new person. Like I went and bought a brand new computer. So the lesson is sometimes you do have to start over from scratch. Where's scratch? Back there.
Dang, that just made me so happy.
Sometimes you really do have to start from scratch. Hey, come on back here. Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, you do have to start from scratch, because I tried to do some stuff that I absolutely needed to do for work. It was like 2 projects, and it kept giving me an error. And I was like, bruh, I've done the most that I can, but now I need to, I can't take anymore. And this is actually doing more harm than good. I need to start over.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing that happened to me, though.
So when you restart, then I imagine a lot of your stuff is like in your cloud, right? So
No, I gotta delete everything.
Oh.
I gotta, yeah. So restarting is like, or resetting, I gotta delete everything. All the videos that I edited, and yeah. So I backed a decent amount up to my other hard drive, as much as I pretty much needed. And then I took account, it was like 7 or 8 apps that I absolutely need to download. So I was like, I wrote those down, but yeah, I deleted everything. Yeah. And I'm very diligent about what I save on here. It's like now with iCloud and stuff, like, yeah, I did have like my pictures, my messages, because that's all in the cloud. But like stuff that I only have on my laptop was only on my laptop. I had to delete it, because then I'm like, bro, it couldn't even tell me what was saved on here. I'm like, what's saved
Right.
on there? It was like, yeah, I don't know, but you out of storage though. I don't know what to tell you, but you are out of storage, so you got to figure it out.
Oh,
It's like Debo. What?
yeah. But now, do you feel like you'll be more aware of like when you are approaching that line of storage? Like, was storage the issue?
Yeah, storage was definitely the issue. Like
Yeah.
this one, I have a 512 gigabyte MacBook, and I really wanted like a terabyte, but is what it is. Apple tax is crazy.
Mm,
Yeah, so it meant the difference between like an extra $400 essentially.
okay.
So it's like, why pay that? So
And you can't buy additional storage. That has to just come on the
no,
computer.
it used to be before
Yeah.
the corporate greed, my sister.
Mhm.
It used to be where you could buy the lowest amount of memory and then just upgrade it yourself. The RAM too. You could do both of those things. So it's just about basically how well your computer performs. But then they started soldering it to the motherboard. So there's no way that you could take it off. So you get what you get, and you can't. So
they were on the mothership, baby Bob. They was on the mothership. It was on the mothership.
It was on the Once you on the mothership, you can't get off. So
wow, I'm sorry.
Wow,
But it might be a good thing.
No, it was a phenomenal thing. I'm glad that I
Yeah.
did it. I'm so glad that I did it. It was the best, one of the best decisions of this year that I've made for sure.
Come on.
So yeah, lovely. So we are good with our segments. We're gonna talk about the meat of the episode.
All right. So we watched a documentary on Netflix called Titan, the Ocean Gate submersible disaster. And for our listeners, that was when them folks tried to go down there looking at the Titanic and ended up getting blown to smithereens. It was the documentary about that. The description for that documentary was: this filmmaker sheds light on the implosion of the Titan submersible during its 2023 voyage to the Titanic crash site, revealing how a bold ambition turned into tragedy. So, first question to you all: what do you remember this story? Like, Did you remember it outside of watching the documentary? Like, did you remember it? Okay. What were your thoughts about it as it was happening in real time?
8, what you got?
Sit your ass down.
Sit your ass down.
Just sit down. Because what are we doing? Just sit down.
Yeah.
That was the first, and even sit down. Sit down. That was mine. That's it.
Yeah, I had the same sentiment because I'm like, what? For what? To see Titanic? That's the reason that y'all are going down there.
We got the movie.
To see it. Right.
Yeah, and they do a damn good job in the movie. You can watch it. You can stay dry. You can stay home.
You can see everything.
You can stay warm.
Yeah.
So there was a part in the documentary where they said that the 3 most globally recognized words were God, Coca-Cola, and Titanic. And so I did not know that there was this like global desire for knowledge on the Titanic. I also think, like, I'm gonna be real with it, that's some white people stuff. Like, we don't really, I don't know that we care about the Titanic in that way.
Oh, I know I don't. I think
so. I can't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say I don't think I really like. I can't remember as a kid hearing Titanic thrown around. Just where that just wasn't a movie that was discussed,
right?
Ever.
So what I will say about the Titanic movie is that was a movie. And even to this day, like, if it's on as a movie, I'm gonna stop and watch. Right?
Really?
It's a very, very long movie. I am of the.
If it's on, where would you see it?
If I just come across it, right?
TBS.
You got cable TV?
on Hulu. But if I come across it, I will stop to watch it. When I was little, me and my cousins, like whenever we would want to spend the night at each other's house, we would put on Titanic, and it would be like, oh, when the movie over, then we could leave. And then by the time the movie would be over, they done had a few more drinks, and we could pretend like we sleep. So like it was a long enough movie where we could like hide behind it. And I was actually like, I liked it. Whatever. I'm not even going front like I didn't enjoy the movie. But that's kind of where it ended. And then I remember in Kings of Comedy when Steve Harvey was like, wrap this up. What do you say? Earth, Wind, Fire, Magic Chords. Like they play, like those are the kind of things that I think about. Like, what if it was a ship of black folks? Like, how different it would have been. Which, just as I watched the doc, those were some of the things that came to my mind because whatever. So I think I know the answer to this question, but would y'all ever have gotten down in the Titan?
Wait, you didn't tell us. Okay, no,
What?
no.
Hell no.
Hell no. No.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing about that seems appealing to you. Like, I think it is. So in the documentary, the creator or like the owner of the Ocean Gate company, Stockton Rush. Yeah. He was the founder and CEO of Ocean Gate. He designed the Titan submersible, which there's submarines and there's submersibles. I guess submersibles are able to go deeper than a submarine. And submersibles are not a new thing. He is not the creator of them. He had different size submersibles, and he had gone down to view the Titanic on multiple occasions. He was depicted in the documentary as he would call them big swinging dicks. He wanted to be a big swinging dick like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. And so he wanted his name to be mentioned among those folks. Elon is going up to space. He felt like everything that was in space was also under the sea. And so that was his almost
motivation.
His motivation, but also like his just a like major driving force to want to get down there, as if he was gonna see something different than all the other times that they went down there.
Right.
So what did y'all think of Stockton?
You know what? If I can say something real quick, I saw an interview with the CEO of Netflix a couple months ago, and this was on YouTube. I sent it to y'all, but he basically was saying like there are two types of CEOs. The first is ideas can come from them and them only. And that's the ideas that we're going with. The second type of CEO is where they don't care where the idea is from. They just want to be successful. And he was definitely the first type of CEO.
Definitely. Yeah.
For sure. It only had to come from him. And if you even try to suggest something for his safety, he felt challenged and threatened and will ruin your life for $50,000, as he said.
Yeah.
Was he a bad congressman? Wasn't his wife? She was involved.
His wife, right? Yeah, his wife worked for the company.
Right. Okay. Was her name like Holly or something? Or am I making that up?
I don't remember what her name was. She really wasn't a major player in this. And like, I want to be considerate because people lost their lives here.
That's true. Yeah.
And I won't say but. And there were a lot of missteps in the process. So and I think back to like what you were saying, B, about his style of leadership, like he
tyrant
seemed like he had a team assembled of people that had the knowledge kind of what was going on. Like one of the individuals that was on the Titan when they went down they considered him the Mr. Titanic. He was a French Titanic expert, he had been down
Alright.
there. I forget how many times they said.
Yeah.
But he was like the man in them Titanic streets. And so he was a consul.
They didn't really have
right in them Titanic waves.
Titanic waves, right?
He was a part of the crew and kind of the person that they looked up to, the whole staff looked up to.
Yeah.
And so great person to have on your team. He had a lot of people that had experience with submersibles. One of the main guys was David Lockridge, who was a director of marine operations. He was one of the pilots for Ocean Gate. He eventually became a whistleblower because he raised a lot of like safety concerns or like something about this ain't right. And he like went public with the information and it ended up backfiring on him, which like I heard you mention, Adrian, where Stockton said something about buying a congressman. Can you what was that about?
I just remember that part. I remember that part. Yeah, I just remember that part. And it's nothing that I took a deep dive into. Outside of it just shows when you got money, you could do pretty much whatever you want to do.
Overarching theme. Yeah. Lots of money involved in this kind of.
But you have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you, and that's what I think that's why I kept getting stuck is like, because I know how my mama or my friends or my family would talk to me if I was like, all right, so we gonna do this. Can you imagine? Like, can you both of y'all imagine going to y'all mamas and being like, yeah, mom, so I'm about like then my question goes to like, what is it? Because for you to want to do this, you've been thinking about this for a long time.
Long time.
This is deep for you, and I do not have that same feeling at all.
But I don't know if they said that Stockton was a billionaire.
I think he was.
Yeah,
it would totally make sense because I feel like when people reach a certain amount of wealth, they're bored with what's here on this mainland. You know, so I gotta go to space.
Here.
I gotta go.
Bullshit ass car, stupid ass Rolls Royce.
Right. So he had a lot of time on his hands.
It's so stupid.
I think also. I think also with that too, like it is. I mean, we're seeing it with Diddy. When you have money, it's harder for people to tell you no. It's harder for people to like stand up to you. And what's crazy about this was that David did, as he was an employee, tell him like, I don't think we're ready to go down, or like, this, there was different like checkpoints. There was a lot of things that I think Stockton did to avoid like the certification process, or like the just accountability in general, right? So what we know about the Titanic is that it is located like in a weird space where it is not necessarily in the United States jurisdiction and weirdly placed between Canada jurisdiction. So there would have been 2 checkpoints, at least Canada, at least the United States, that he needed to get certified to be able to go down there with, that he just kind of avoided that process. And like they were talking to the one of them people from the the water police, and he said that there were a lot of things that was like left off of the paperwork by design. And I think too, like with Stockton being rich, people don't think you'll ever get caught. And then you end up getting your ass blown up or blown in. And now look at you on a documentary.
Exactly.
Go ahead, B.
I was just gonna say, I think all two like billionaires and like rich people and stuff like that, they feel like this is a necessary, like they're taking a necessary risk for like all of mankind. Like if I take this risk, then we could finally go see Titanic, or like if I take this risk, we could finally end up in space, and you don't have to be on NASA. It's like, bruh, what?
You ain't gotta do it for me. If anybody thinking they doing it for me, you don't have to. You do not have to. That's
so
not
do y'all think having money buys you the ability to bypass rules, or are you just setting yourself up for an
in the
eventual
moment.
fall?
I feel like in the moment you can. In the moment
Yeah.
you could probably get away with it, but like it tends to come back unless you just like, Olivia Killing Pope. But I feel like when you have money, like there's just you just do things differently. Like I feel like even the way that you handle things, like I'm not worried about no damn police, like that kind of thing. Like what do you mean you gonna call the police? Well, and then what are they gonna do? Like that kind of thing. Because you feel like I got money because I got my hands in this, so I know that that kind of thing. So I feel like if you have enough, it's one thing if you have enough money. It's having money is great, but is it the gift of gab?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because you can if you can have a conversation with a nigga that ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
But they can convince you that I know that he's in a Range Rover, a brand new one that I know he is the way that he talk, and it's like, no, he ride with somebody, and no shade to that, but it's just like when you have that's a true gift, and like so I think that plays a part in it as well. But either way, I think there's always ways around things when you factor in a little coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my thing with that is do it for yourself. Don't be bringing people in this with you.
True.
Like, because now I don't know. Go ahead, B. You was about to say something.
I think that you could bypass rules kind of like indefinitely if you are a white male and you have money. But if you are not, that you have like an expiration date on that time, where you could, i.e. Diddy,
Yeah. I mean, I could not imagine if this project was being led by somebody black. I ain't even gonna say of color.
Specifically black.
Right. Because like he was ghetto with the setup. Like he cut corners. So hopefully the listeners will go back and watch the documentary. Spoiler alert. We know how it ended. But the Titan was like this cyclical shaped dome that usually when people make submersibles, they are made out of much more titanium. Or there was two styles. I forget what it was.
And something else,
something.
But it wasn't carbon fiber. It wasn't plastic.
It was not carbon fiber, right? So he had the grand idea to use the carbon fiber, which is basically string, and put like some kind of I'm thinking of tacky, that's not the word, but some kind of liquid bonding agent to bond the string together. And they attach some like audio things into it to where like if they heard any popping or any noises, that would signal that there's a weakness in a certain part of the submersible. Now, what I will say is it seemed like they did the process as well as they could, meaning they tested it without humans in it for a while, or they tested a smaller version of it. But the fatal mistake that they made was one winter they left it outside. And like,
and they allowed water to get into it.
Like it's freezing. I think about when you leave something as simple as leaving the chairs on your deck outside during the winter. Like you can come back to them and they may not be in the same condition, right? Like depending on what kind of material there are. So like it just seems like that was the big problem, right? Like that was when we knew, well, obviously we knew that from how we know the story ended, but that was probably the fatal mistake that he made. And he was doing that to kind of avoid cost of having to move it. Like, I guess the big he said, and we could take what he said with a grain of salt, Stockton, that the most expensive part of having a submersible is moving it from point A to point B, or getting it on a ship and getting it out to the middle of the water, because what would be needed to carry it is so massive that it would be expensive. So instead of him finding a garage or something, he just left it out there on the deck and
left it in the driveway.
Left it in the driveway and let it just rust. Wow.
It couldn't have been that expensive though, because it was it more expensive than like being worth your life though? You know, and it's also funny. It's also like so crazy how much credibility you get if you have made a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah. That just automatically makes you like, not the scientists and the engineers though on his team. It's like, this is not smart. He's like, you're fired. Like, wait a minute. I'm an engineer.
So like okay. So it seemed like initially he was surrounded by a lot of yes men. Do you think surrounding yourself with yes men is dangerous or can be dangerous?
Oh, super. Super. I say the best like attribute that you could have is being self-aware. So if you have yes men around you, your self-awareness goes out the window because you don't even have any checks and balances.
Yeah.
Everybody just telling you whatever you want to hear, essentially. You know.
Okay. So this wasn't a freak accident. It was avoidable, right? It wasn't.
Very.
First
for
off,
10 years at that.
Y'all didn't need to be going down there. Two, there was stuff throughout the process. Like, again, they were filming a lot of the attempts of going down, and the pop or the sound that would be coming from this machine at certain points was like, bust your eardrums loud. So I guess I'm trying to understand why. And the documentary does show that many of the employees started to leave when they didn't agree with the mission anymore, or they were just kind of like, the carbon fiber ain't gonna make it for me, or like they did not want the blood on their hands. When they started charging people, it was a $250,000 mission just to get in there and go down. And so there was a young man that was a YouTube influencer.
He was a YouTuber,
yeah. And so he actually was on the mission right before the implosion,
a couple days before,
which is wild. Like he said, when they at one point when the implosion happened, actually, let me back up. So the YouTuber guy was going down there just to see what was going on, which again,
sit your ass down. Sit down.
But he went there and they showed him the vessel or whatever. He said just the ship to get out to how far where they were going to drop the submersible, he was getting sick.
Oh yeah,
the amount of like movement. They showed the movement on the boat, and like that would have been it for me, right? Like they sitting there at the table and stuff falling over and sliding and doing all of that, but he still went forward with it. Then when he got inside of the submersible, he said that his socks were wet from condensation getting inside. So that also, like, that wasn't the first time that happened.
No,
I don't know.
It's so crazy, and this is, and not to preach or nothing, but this is where real discernment comes in, because there were proven engineers and scientists that made him feel okay, even when they had the press for was it like ABC or NBC or something like that. When they had those people out, it was like, "Are you sure it's safe?" It's like, yeah, but they don't know anything about this. They just know that they've been working on it for like 8 years, 9 years, and if this person is an engineer and a scientist, I'm gonna just kind of believe you. You know,
Right.
I would
Yeah.
think they would think that they would be safe, but
And
that's
it's
where
not
real
the
discernment
media's
comes.
it's not the media's job to figure
No, it's
out the
not.
scientific part of it. They just give you a platform to talk about what you got going on. Right. So like they
Absolutely.
might poke a hole or ask a clarifying, like, you sure it is safe? But he said on multiple occasions, like, I have a granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
I want to live for my granddaughter.
No, you
And
don't.
so right.
Yeah, that's
Um
so crazy.
so why? Okay, we talked about that one already. Can
This
no,
I
no.
was just
Go
going
ahead.
I was
I'm
just gonna
sorry.
say, even if you had all of the microphones, 17, 35, 47 microphones to hear, I mean, what would happen if you heard all of them going off? You're already under the water.
Well, he did say something about that. He said that like one of the early ones where he was going down, he said like there's going to be alarms going off. It's nothing that
Just ignore it.
you should be concerned with.
What?
Which bringing it back to what I was saying earlier, when I was up in the T-Mobile store, you know, I sometimes like I don't know if those, you know, where they
Like
had the phones on display when they get
yeah.
too far or something, like an alarm will go off, and so I
Yeah.
kept like, I'm like, ain't nobody really responding to those alarms, but like, just your human nature is when you hear some kind of siren or something, or if
Mhm.
I'm under the ocean in an enclosed case and I hear noises, I'm going to like, I wonder if people got down there and panicked or whatever. And like, just as
Mm.
they lost contact with the submersible as it got to a certain level of deepness.
Mm.
And then, oh man, there's just so much. So it was being controlled by an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Like that was what was driving the thing. And I did not understand. I'm sure it's way above me, but how were they even able to connect at that depth of the ocean? Like it's not Wi-Fi at that point, you know. Like
Yeah.
what
But
kind of
you
setup did they have?
but did you know that that's actually how we get internet is cables on
Under
the
the
ocean
ocean?
floor. Mm-hmm. We think
I
it's
did not
satellites,
know
but
that.
no, it's cables on the ocean. Yeah.
Oh, so it's stronger down there. They like on
Or
27G.
something. I don't know. The sharks and stuff. Yeah,
I just
Oh,
don't know. I don't know shit because every time you think I know something,
I know. I was
wow.
today years old. Yeah, I found that out on TikTok. Of course.
Huh.
Of course it was on
Okay.
TikTok. Yeah.
So yeah, they got down there. They lost communication. I think at like the Titanic is at 4,000 psi, like that level of deepness. They lost contact after like 3,000 or something like that, and they just thought it was, oh, it'll pop back on,
Yeah.
we'll be okay.
Yeah.
When it didn't, the media began to cover it. I'm not sure how the story even got out, but the media began to cover it. Do you believe that this coverage was so intense because it was rich people on the boat or on the submersible? Like, do you feel like it was just, if it was some average Joes like us, which it wouldn't be, it
Which
would
it
have
wouldn't
been
be.
covered. It would have been covered as intensely.
Yeah, it's most likely because it was a billionaire
Yeah.
there.
And
Yeah,
there
for
there
sure.
actually was multiple billionaires down there.
Multiple billionaires down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And so once the media picked it up, it became like they had, do you remember they had like the oxygen ticker where it was like,
Yeah.
this is how much oxygen. They had like these tanks of oxygen that was just to keep them breathing while in there. And they had like, I think he said 8 or 9 emergency tanks of oxygen in the event that they need them.
But was it like 4 days? It wasn't a long time for the shelf life of those tanks, was it? 'Cause I thought he said it was only for like 4 days or something. No.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Like, and I can't imagine that they were checking them things like the way they were
Right.
supposed to. If
No,
you
yeah.
left the thing outside with the garage door open,
Mhm.
you
They was
surely
blowing
would
up
check it
balloons,
out.
everything.
Right. They was having birthday parties. It probably wasn't no air up in them things. I don't know. I don't know
It
that.
was
to
like
be
Dollar
true.
General.
Right.
They never got
But
them.
they had the ticker on, like most news networks had, like, this is how long until they run out of oxygen. So like I remember thinking like they gonna suffocate first.
Mm-hmm.
They had one of the Mr. Titanic guy, the man in the Titanic waves, his daughter
Mm-hmm.
was on the documentary, and
Mm-hmm.
she's they're French, so she was being
Speaking
translated.
French. Yeah.
Yeah, but she said that when she spoke to the family of all the other people that were on the submersible, they just believed that they were lost,
Mm-hmm.
not that they were going to die down there. Like they, and
Mm-hmm.
with her father had been down there so many times that it was just like, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
that was another angle of the doc, because they the Mr. Titanic guy, one of the media coverage guys was like, what did he have to gain by even going down there? One, because he had been
Mm-hmm.
so many times. Two, with all of these complaints and issues being addressed very early on, why wouldn't he have removed himself from the process? And
Mm-hmm.
when he said, he asked him directly, he said, I'm rich, I've lived a great life.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if this it. And
Wow.
like, it's hard for me to get in the mindset of, maybe it's that much money, maybe is that like accomplishment, that level of
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment, or like really being passionate enough about something where it's like, I've done it, I have nothing more to give.
Wow.
But
That's interesting.
clearly that's how it was. Yeah. So I guess as we come to a close, or do you all have anything
I
to
got
add?
tons of stuff. I was
Okay,
just
hop
gonna
on
say
in.
also that guy from, I think he was Irish, that actually tried to sue
He was the
the
whistleblower.
billionaire. Yeah, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the whistleblower. I just remember this interview from Dame Dash a couple years ago, and he was like, I'm owed all of this money. He was like, but I can't really go get it because I don't have the stamina to fight in court, or I don't have the money to fight
Mm-hmm.
in court. And that's exactly what the Irish guy was saying. He was like, it's a noble cause for me to sue them because I don't feel like this is like kosher, but I ain't got no more money.
Right.
So and so if I withdraw it, it just kind of goes away. And that's really unfortunate. It's not real justice,
Yeah.
but
And
I
and
mean,
he
that's the way of
stuck
the
with it
world.
for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And like, being in that level, going up against a company in general in court is not easy, because
Boy,
they
what?
probably
They
gonna
got
have more.
teams of lawyers. Teams of
Exactly.
lawyers.
Yeah.
What? This is what they do every single day.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
probably was like, I'm gonna get that to the Lord
Mhm.
Right.
and just hope ain't
You want
nobody
some of this
crazy enough
stuff,
to go
man?
down
Nope.
there. Yeah.
No. And it's like, what else can you do? I thought it was also interesting that Stockton, you know, and it kind of makes sense for what he was trying to do, because he was just trying to circumvent all of this accountability and stuff. But you just hire people that was graduates. I'm talking about 6 months ago, they was playing beer pong. What's
Yep.
going on?
And don't
And
have
now,
no kind of, this is too heavy of a project.
yeah, but he knew that he didn't want any pushback though.
Mm-hmm.
They probably thought that it was and even the young lady, she was like, all of my friends were in COVID at the crib, laid off. She's like, well, if I got a job, I'm gonna stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also very, very important, like if it's illegal or immoral, no matter what the job is, you really have to check your moral compass. Like, this really ain't even it, and I really don't even care what I'm letting go of,
Mm-hmm.
because now I just can't live with myself.
And
If
if
I
we're
signed
talking
off
about the
on this,
same person, I think she did eventually quit for that very
she
reason.
did,
Where it
she
got to the
did,
point where she's like, I'm good.
and they were
I
trying to make
just go back to my mama house.
Right, exactly. It may not be so bad. But they also tried to make the accountant be like the female lead pilot for the submersible. And she's like, guys, I'm an accountant. She was like, and they were like, no, it'll look good in the news story. It'll probably give us
You're a
like,
woman.
you're a
Yeah.
woman.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And to like on a lot of the paperwork that people had to sign in order to go down, it like waivers. Do y'all read waivers when you're giving a waiver for something?
I
I
will
know.
read it. I will read it
I skim
because
it. Mm, just signing your life away.
Mm-hmm.
But in the waiver, it said that this is an experimental
yeah.
thing. Like there was not official language
Mm-hmm.
to I don't know if people have gotten lawsuit money or like civil money as a result of
From
what
this
actually
specifically.
happened, but I think
Yeah.
some of the terminology that was in the waiver was to again avoid accountability from having to do that if something went wrong. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know, it makes me believe that again he wanted to be his name to be mentioned with those folks by hook or crook.
Mm,
As you know, like now you sure okay, maybe I don't know if people really know you, Stockton. They don't know you in the same way that they know Elon, but you also are infamous for killing
yeah.
folks.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like at the end, that guy, he was like, he wanted to be famous, and he was like, now you're famous. I'm like, that's not fame, that's infamy.
That is not fame.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was absolutely crazy. I guess hey, what do you think about this whole thing? Like, because you sent a couple like surprise faces and was like, this thing is crazy.
Um. So the stuff that I responded to was the stuff that I watched because I kind of fell.
Because you fell
Oh.
asleep.
I fell asleep on it. So I'm learning as y'all talking. I'm like, whoo, I gotta watch this. This sounds good. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping y'all didn't ask me a question, but you did. So yeah.
All right. Well, um, I guess to end,
Yeah.
there were the people who died. So eventually, the submersible was so deep that it imploded, not exploded.
From
So
the inside.
from the inside out. So there were no
Yeah.
remains. There were
Jeez.
remains of the front part of the submersible, and that's what the YouTuber guy was like. I had my feet on that. And
Mhm.
that was the only thing that was brought out of the ocean afterwards.
Mhm.
So he had an emotional reaction to that because like imagine being that close to getting your ass blown up or blown in and after the
Every
fact
time you
seeing
say that, that just sounds so funny.
they got blown in.
They
So
did.
um the people who passed away in the implosion was Stockton Rush, the CEO, and the pilot. Hamish Harding, who was a British billionaire adventurer, too much time on his
Wow.
hands, a businessman, and also a space tourist. So he had gone up and he went down, and ended up
Wow.
going down. Paul Henry Nergole, who was
That's
the
PH. The
PH, yeah,
Titanic person. Yeah.
the Titanic man, veteran French Titanic expert known as Mr. Titanic. And then there was a father and son duo, which that made me so sad. A
Wow.
Pakistani British businessman. He was one of Pakistan's richest men. And then his
Wow.
19-year-old son, who had just graduated high school and was headed to college,
Just graduated high school. Wow.
yes, were the five individuals that their families had to receive the news that they were not coming back. And so like it does feel sad that like these people maybe like I don't think everybody's intention. I'm not sure if Stockton's intention was sinister. I think he was just careless. I think he was just he wanted what he wanted and wasn't concerned with who was I think he felt like if I'm going down here, then everybody would be good, like in a narcissistic kind of way. Like I I know what I'm doing and people should want to go down here with me. But these people just thought again that they were signing up to go on down, do a field trip, or they couldn't have thought that this was going to be the last time the submersible went down. So it was very, very interesting to me.
Yeah.
But
It was interesting to me as well. I do want to say, like, to your point, like he didn't have a sinister like intentions at first, but I do feel like by you not listening to engineers and scientists, it does turn sinister and potential or like intention or like the like what you start out with, it has a shelf life, because as you start to learn more, then it's like, maybe we shouldn't really go down here.
yeah.
So yeah, that can only, I feel like when people say that, it's like my intentions was right, it's like, yeah, but that only gets you so far though, truly, because you start to learn more information and it's like, what are you going to do with that information? And you're unfortunately you're on the wrong side of history, when you just like, telling
Yeah.
everybody to shut up,
Just a closing question. What do y'all think the balance is between like chasing your dreams and going forward with nothing holding you back versus like respecting boundaries, aka people telling you, I don't know if that's a good idea, or I am a scientist and science is blah blah blah. Like what do you think is how do you balance that? Because we tell people to dream big. If nothing else, Stockton was dreaming big. Okay,
he was dreaming big, but I feel like I feel like at the end of the day, if you have, I think it depends on what you're doing. So like if what you're doing can harm people, then you have to listen to the specialists in that field, or if it's like at a detriment to yourself, maybe you should listen to people that love you if they don't want you to go through these different things. It's like, I think the like the common denominator is just always being teachable. As long as you're teachable, then you'll probably be okay. You can probably chase those dreams, however big, the right way. But it's a right and wrong way to do stuff. And I always like to quote, who would say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's like I had the greatest intentions, but then somehow it went awry, But that's if you're not listening to nobody, if you just being a vigilante and just on your own, then
winging it.
That's what can happen. Exactly, just winging it. Yeah. Hey, what you think?
I think it's a case by case basis, in my opinion, because I feel like you can tell somebody something and you can say, no, this isn't a good idea, and people go do what people want to do. And I realize for me, it's just I can give my suggestions, I can want the best, I can do that, but I feel like everybody got a story, and it might sound crazy with us being on this side talking about like what happened with the stuff, but then what if he died the way that he wanted to die? You know what I mean? Like, what if maybe he felt like, you know what, I lived my life, I did what I was supposed to do. Like, so I feel like to me, if you bring it to me and ask my opinion, I'll tell you. But if you decide you want to go, hey, we can have a conversation, but you gonna do what you want to do anyway. That's what it all boils down to, in my opinion. I just feel like people gonna do what they want to do. So is there a balance? It depends on the person.
I just feel like the difference here is that like the last like 15 or 10 minutes of the documentary, they were just like, I just wonder if the people in there were like panicking, like, I didn't know it was gonna do all this. You said that we were safe.
We'll never know.
We will never know. But I just feel like when you pull other
people in,
into it, then it's no longer just about you, and it can't just be I'm gonna just do whatever I want to do because it made me feel good. Because you got other people. I mean, in this scenario, it's very serious, and he had other people literal lives at stake. You
Do y'all
know?
think it's more people like planning another?
So, ironically enough, the only person whose family that passed away was PH's daughter, and she said she did not receive a "I'm
Yeah, no,
sorry your father
nothing.
died."
Yeah,
Whatever. So, like, I think Ocean Gate is done. I
Okay.
can't imagine like that there are any fools that would be like, you know what, I'm going on that Ocean Gate mission. But this is also like they weren't the only submersible business. I think people would be more hesitant to go down as a result. Like we also don't know if this is the first time that something like this has happened. I think this was the first time that there was media coverage and it got, like talked about on social media and went viral in that way. And like in a lot of ways, we was laughing at it because it's so
yeah,
bizarre that like you can't even you are insensitive to somebody doing it because it's just like, wait, you pay $250,000 to get in this
no,
and
for real.
go down and see some remains of something so old, like that we got the internet now. We could just
Yeah,
look up the pictures of what the Titanic looked like now if we want to. Um, but that is maybe that's just a level of my brain that I haven't tapped into yet where I would want to go and
but you
see
know what?
something.
I think this was the only time that it was private though, because all of the other times,
Oh,
like I looked on ChatGPT and they were talking about in 2000 there was a submarine disaster. It was a Russian Navy submarine. So that one sank during a training exercise in the Barents Sea. So 118 people passed away. All 118 crew passed away,
whew.
and so some of the other ones are like military or like research, but from a government. But this was the only one that was like private though. This was a person coming out of his pocket and saying, I want to go and see the Titanic.
Hmm. Yeah,
So that's what makes it. Yeah.
no
I,
federal
I,
backing.
yeah, exactly. And he didn't need it because he was a billionaire, and had other billionaires on there, which is crazy. Do y'all think though, and I guess this is kind of like a piggyback on Danae's last question, but I guess like how far should a billionaire be able to go on their own, you know, I guess on their
That is,
own like recognizance
yeah, that's a good question because when you have it, your world is different than
is way
so
different.
like again, I'm gonna keep referencing the Diddy thing. Like, don't nobody need that much baby oil, but like his mind as somebody that has everything at their fingertips is like looking for the next thing, looking for the like freakier thing. Look, so I think when you're talking billions and you're talking like, I like this, I might care about dogs. I might make mansions just full of dogs and like who gonna check me, boo? Like, so
Or
it's
start cloning
unfortunate.
dogs.
I think it says a lot about us that we allow people with money to just kind of carry out whatever they want to do. But like, what are we gonna do? Kill them? Like, we really can't do anything about it when people have access. And when I guess you just pray that people that have that level of access have people that are realistic enough to tell them,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's right, and that they'll listen,
And that they'll listen,
right?
right? Because that's
Yeah,
like
it's like kind of
trying to
what Adrian said, like, let people do what they want to do. Yes, yes, but like, are you willing to sit back and see something that's wrong, and be like, hey, that's
right.
just what they want to do? I guess we do that sometimes. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you just said tomorrow, like, you know what, I'm going whatever. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
about to stand on the corner and walk into traffic and see how many times I could do that. I'm going for the Guinness Book of World Records. I would be like, Adrian, no.
Mhm.
But this is just an example of that to the infinite, where I'm just about to try to go
Or
to the ocean floor.
right. Or it's like, okay, how can we do it safely though? You know?
Like, have you thought? I think that's a balance in friendships, right? Like, clearly, maybe it wasn't his wife's role because she was in on it too. But he and some people won't listen.
Yeah, they
Like,
just
that's
won't
the other
listen no
part.
matter
Like,
what you
some people
say.
just like it
Yeah.
don't matter who it come from, and it seemed like Stockton was a mofo that
Not
was not
a
interested
mofo.
in listening to what anybody had to say.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
people need to get, well, I ain't gonna say that, but those are the people who
I need to know what
it, that end up in unfortunate situations because they are not humble enough to listen.
I feel like also it's like, and this would be my last point, but I feel like also it's a thing where you like trying to arrest somebody before they do the crime. It's like
Right.
that's you can't do that, you know.
Yeah, you don't know it's wrong till you get blown in.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that was Titan. On Netflix. You guys should go check it out. Adrian, you should check it out.
I'm gonna watch some more. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna listen to this.
Oh, so you ain't gonna watch it.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
So
We'll see.
y'all,
I
we need
tried.
a
I
break.
was like, whoo, whoo. All right, Stockton, got it. Yeah, ready then. Like, even today when I got at work, I was like, okay, we gonna watch.
Okay.
Nate, take us out.
All right. So to the followers and the viewers, we are still gonna be taking a break. And so we'll be back. We'll see y'all in the week of August 18th.
Yes.
Be well, be great, be healthy, enjoy some of this summertime fun. It's hot than than that thing. It's hot out there.
Dang,
So
boy.
get out there, enjoy some light. Don't stay in binge watching stuff, but give Titan a try. And
A good
then
balance.
just listen to our episodes and stuff. And we'll see y'all when we get back. We'll miss y'all.
Peace. See y'all next time.